Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. And thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today, Saffron Tiger is back with us, and there's plenty to discuss today. Welcome, Saffron.
Namaskar, Meena ji, and namaskar to all our viewers. It's my proud privilege to represent on your channel and interact with our viewers about the serious issues happening in our country and all around the world.
Yeah. Also, Saffron, see, since my throat is not too well, I'll let you do most of the speaking so that, I can, I don't want to sound, as I'm coughing all the time. Okay.
Sure,
So we'll
Meena ji.
start with the.
I think I will play the host for this
Yeah.
particular show as I'm used
Yeah.
to in past. So I will do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So the first news bit that we're talking about is a viral video, that went with Shehnaz and Salman in the Eid party at Salman Khan's sister's Arpita's house. Now, see, earlier she's said to have been so dedicated to Shukla, Siddharth Shukla, that she could not live without him. Then slowly she started dropping her inhibitions, to start wearing skimpy clothes. And then to, at this party, shower Salman Khan with kisses all over his face and head. Something about the way she behaved made social media wary, asking if she was high on any substance to behave in such an uninhibited way. But then each and every calculated step seems to have been in that direction. Right from flirting with, on Big Boss show with Salman to now bagging a picture, appearing in a skimpy swimsuit, and now the final touch. And she catches in the end of the, at the end of the party, she catches him by the hand and goes to the car, which is she in shock says, "Is this my car?" Which is actually Salman's car. Even at the Baba Siddiqui's iftar party, Shehnaaz showed the same protection and attention to her. Now on social media, she got lambasted by all the social media users, and they said that this woman is an actress like Ria. Now, see, to cover up for that, which happened sometime in January, they say that Shehnaaz received a special token of love from the Brahma Kumaris when she celebrated her first birthday after the death of her boyfriend, Siddharth Shukla. So here she's seen dancing with the Brahma Kumaris and being felicitated for what we do not know. And they said, keep smiling or keep shining. But nowhere in the picture do you find Siddharth Shukla's mother or sister in that. So you can make out that there's something terribly wrong here. Yeah, to you.
Ma'am, if you see closely to the chain of events, you will find some strange similarities between the way Shehnaz has behaved and Riya Chakrabarti behaved after the murder of SSR. Uh, I'm not surprised by the fact that her behavior has changed. Like, Shehnaz Gill is seeing like more cozy with Salman Khan and like, wearing all those obscene clothes and all of that stuff. What amazes me is the alacrity. I am like the alacrity by which they are doing it. It's not even a year since Siddharth Shukla passed away. And this time, the cabal ensured that all the loopholes that were pointed out by the very justice seekers like us, you, me, and all the viewers, all the justice seekers who pointed out the loopholes in the investigation, the cabal made sure that all of those loopholes were covered.
Yeah.
They made sure that there was time written on the post-mortem report, there was a reason written, and they made sure that all of the things which the genuine justice seekers had mentioned to all the people on social media, that these are the gaps where we have a strong circumstantial evidence. All of those things were covered in Siddharth Shukla. And now, because there is nothing to question, there is no strong circumstantial evidence in Siddharth Shukla's case which can be made as opposed to SSR case.
But
we
remember, there was
yeah,
no postmortem result. They never showed us the postmortem result. And who was the person who who was there at the the Hooper Hospital? It was the suspicious Trimukhe.
Ma'am, those are all the chips of the old block. You will either have Trimukhe, or you will have Sachin Vaze, or you will have some Parambir replacement, or Parambir Singh guy like people who are all these hands in gloves with our very some of the fake SSRians and the justice seekers who have infiltrated the SSR movement, like Smita Parekh, right? So I think that see, on one hand I feel good that justice seekers are pointing out some important facts and talking about things on social media, which can lead to some helpful information for the agencies. But on the other hand, what I feel is that due to the members of cabal who have infiltrated deeply into this movement, uh, actions of many people have been questioned. And now, because Shehnaz Gill, like take example for Shehnaz Gill, like you could see, like when Siddharth Shukla died, the way she was playing like all that, a sad widow kind of a character. And now shamelessly she is kissing Salman Khan, and hugging him as if she is making a point, actually as if she is mocking at all of the justice seekers, that that here is like the middle finger for you guys, because we have successfully killed an honest guy, and now we are going to go ahead with all the activities that the cabal has been doing for eons. It is not something new that we have seen today. So her actions don't surprise me, but the way she has behaved and the timing of it is really surprising me.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll see that at the party, all the women are supposed to be dressing in sharara and all, which are very typically Muslim dresses, and also do adab. Okay, so which means they completely train these honey, what alleged honey traps, to behave in a manner that suits them.
Ma'am, what happens is that not only now but from a long time, certain things have been normalized in in India, I would say. And also they have been normalized so deeply that any regular Hindu won't even realize that oh, they are trying to brainwash us in some or the other way. They are passively getting brainwashed. You are used to being mocked upon your own gods, your own way of living, but there you won't see you won't see any even like a remote joke that will hurt the sentiments of faiths of Islam, or anywhere close to that. And that is how it has been. And when you are questioning,
Yeah,
you're told to be intolerant, right?
yeah,
So I think that this, for example, the costume that you talked about, the dress code, in a way it is showing that here is the supremacy. They're establishing a hierarchy that look guys, you have to toe in line, or you have to fall by the wayside.
everybody, including Ekta Kapoor.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. She doesn't care about she's the she. I'm surprised that you said including Ekta Kapoor. I would have been surprised if she was
Put
not
her on the
included
top.
in it. Yeah, right. She is such a shameless character that she has in her own serial she has shown like a widow of an army officer is having an affair, or something along those lines. That's what I read in the
Yeah,
newspapers. So
yes.
I mean, what else can you expect from such people, who are there to brainwash you, who are there to divert people by giving it an angle of lust or something along those lines. But they're never going to do it. They're never going to do it with people from the faith of Islam. They're never going to do that, because when they do that, they are going against the majority. They are going
Yeah,
against the global majority, and nobody wants to go against the global majority, right?
yeah,
So that's the thing.
yeah. And also the fact that she's going to now act with Salman Khan. Kabhi Eid, kabhi Diwali, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That has to be done. So all of this, coziness that you are seeing on screen is in some way a
A
promotion of their
prelude.
film, right? It is a promotion of their film. And can you look at the timing of it?
Yeah,
Siddharth Shukla is killed, and then there is all this victim play by Shehnaz Gill. And now suddenly Shehnaz Gill is coming across as a very shameless person who is doing all these things in public domain. And then there is a film with Salman Khan, right? So look at the chronology, like Amit
Yeah.
Shah says, right? Aap chronology samjhiye. So I would urge all of the people here listening to understand the chronology. And once you do that, you will understand that, like, there is absolutely no iota of doubt that, like, this woman is similar to the Thai in SSR's case, like, who has been planted by the cabal to do the things that she did. I mean, like every single death you see in Bollywood, like you saw Kunal Singh, the actor Kunal from South. There was also a person, a lady who was in his life and who was there. Shehnaz Gill, she's also mysteriously tied to Siddharth Shukla's death. Tai, she is also connected. So you are seeing that, like, this is the pattern. And except for the few of the hundreds of the thousands of the justice seekers, I am afraid that on a majoritarian level, masses have not understood what the cabal is doing, because law enforcement machinery is compromised, because media channels, they have been compromised. So you are going to see that, like, this is going to continue to happen more and more. Ma'am, you're on mute.
So whenever people are trolling these people, these women, immediately Bollywood media gets into action and then paint them into, Sati Savitris. You know, suddenly they are all so good. And today, strangely, they put a picture of Katrina Kaif and her husband Vicky Kaushal in the swimming pool, and asking everybody that, do you all feel something like steaming hot or whatever. Now these are senior citizens. Okay, if they're in a pool and they're swimming, why should the viewers get hot? This is something that should be asked to the Bollywood media, because see, everybody, Salman Khan or Shah Rukh Khan or Amir Khan, are all grandfathers. They're all in their 50s and 60s. And these young girls, Katrina Kaif is also joining the band. But what I'm saying is these Shehnaz and all are in their 20s or 30s. You see? So why are they cavorting with young girls who are old enough to be their daughters or granddaughters?
Ma'am, there is a kind of an Islamic patriarchy which has been there in Bollywood, not now, but for a long time, right? And Bollywood essentially was not meant to flourish to entertain people to begin with. Bollywood was meant to flourish to brainwash people and to ensure that the dirty money of underworld is taken care of. There is a very good show on Netflix called Ozark, where money laundering is shown, like how money is laundered and how black money is converted into white. And that was one of the reasons. Ma'am,
What
you're
is
on
it
mute.
called? Yeah, what is it
Oh,
called?
it is called Ozark. It's a
Okay.
very good show where they have shown how money is laundered. And it kind of, like, it kind of ties back to what's happening in real life in India, where you see that films are being used as a very strong tool to brainwash people, to make sure that the dirty money of underworld, which has been acquired by extortion, by doing drug trafficking, sex human trafficking, or whatever the shenanigans they are involved in, all that money, those illicit proceeds, go towards these film projects. And once the film makes money, it comes out as white money. The profits, they are, like, circulated in the economy, and they are further used for criminal proceeds. So this thing is not something new. It's been happening for a long time. And
Yeah.
one more thing, like, if you have seen, like, even in the early 2000s, when Bharat Shah was questioned for all this chori chori chupke chupke and all those crimes, you saw that, like, those were the movies where Salman Khan had uh, played his role in the movie, right? So you can see that there is a very alleged, I would say, an alleged connection between the underworlds, the perpetrators of the crimes, and people like Salman Khan. So
Yeah.
it's not a question. There's no doubt in it. And yeah, as far as you said that, like, the Bollywood should question such people, I don't think, like, the industry is there to question. The industry is there to brainwash people. The industry
Yeah.
is there to commit more and more such things, so that people get brainwashed. People understand that, like, they are not here to question, but they are here to obey and to follow whatever is being fed to them.
Yeah. So another thing that I saw in the recent videos is just like Shehnaz, there's Kangana Ranaut who's trying to push herself very hard because the movie Dhaka is going to come out. And I was just watching some of the clips. Now she comes out from a helicopter and she wears something that's, everything is out. Everything is out, actually. So people are not watching her face. They're looking at her assets. And she has absolutely no shame. She walks in and she looks at another very suspicious character, that is perhaps the hero, Arjun Rampal. All these people who, Samir Wankade had pulled up. And then you see the way she has changed, the U-turn that she has made. And now this lockup and all is because of the attention that she wants for her movies and the kind of payment that Ekta Kapoor makes.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask all the people, where is the Ekta Kapoor of 2020 and 2019? Where is the Ekta Kapoor of that time and even the years before that when she was going against the Bollywood cabal? Have you seen that Ekta Kapoor? I haven't seen it. Are there any statements against Karan Johar? Are there any statement against nepotism from Ekta Kapoor? No,
Yeah.
from Kangana Ranaut. There are
Yeah.
none. That Kangana Ranaut is nowhere to be seen anymore,
Mm.
and that's why you will see that Kangana Ranaut is hands in gloves with Ekta Kapoor and coming on all these
Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
right? Is she also in the movie Thar? Is she in that movie, Kangana Ranaut?
Dark. Yeah.
Well, so
Dark.
it does not amaze me because Netflix India has very good associations with Karan Johar, and now Kangana Ranaut is also coming on those movies, right?
Mm.
It's one thing if old movies of Kangana Ranaut were on Netflix, but now the new movies are coming. That means she has
Yeah.
joined hands with the cabal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And
See,
uh,
somewhere,
yeah,
somewhere, Saffron, I don't know, maybe whether you agree or not, I don't know. Somewhere I feel Ekta Kapoor, she's very close to all these people, Karan Johar and all. They are supposed to be her classmates or play friends or baby friends or whatever they call them. Somewhere I feel, okay, Kangana is not that intelligent. These people have joined hands, you know, to make her a real victim. Somewhere I feel that Kangana Ranaut is going to be a real loser at the end. They are exploiting her, and she, I think, doesn't realize it because she, in her greed for money and power, and fame, I think she can't see through it.
ma'am, I could agree with you if something happens, if something dreadful, God forbid, if something dreadful happens to Kangana Ranaut, just like what had happened to SSR and Siddharth Shukla and so many other people in the past. If that were the case in future, I would definitely say that, like, this was a strategy of the cabal to compromise Kangana because with all the handshakes and with all the U turns, there is one fact that remains that Kangana Ranaut is an outsider.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a very important
Also,
observation that you have said. I wasn't
yeah.
thinking along those lines, ma'am. So thank you for saying it out on your show because that
Why
could
why
be a
I'm saying it?
possibility.
Yeah. Why I'm saying it? If you look at the latest lockup, you'll find there is a very big change in Kangana, her behavior. Okay, so she doesn't look normal when she's on the sets. It looks like she's taken something, and she believes, going with the Ekta's philosophy, that the more she exposes, the more attention she'll get. When actually in India, you just need to be intelligent and good looking to get attention because Indians are not fools. Okay, so she believes that, see, her, what you call USP is her figure, and she keeps flaunting it. So there's something that in her eyes, her behavior, the way she has changed, so many U-turns that she's making with all these characters, these shady characters that are there, that they are leading her down a path.
That could be the case, ma'am. Also, but we cannot forget the fact that she has very close ties with the BJP government, right? So it's a very difficult. I think to me, like just like there is a very
When
important
you say
minister.
BJP government, who do you mean?
I mean Smriti Irani, right? And Smriti Irani, like give like with all the differences of opinion, but aside, but Smriti Irani does hold an important ministry in at least she holds a post in the BJP government, right? So I feel that there is definitely some exchange of favors here. There is definitely some exchange of favors, or there is definitely some agreement between the cabal and these two ladies, like either like Karan Johar isn't going to troll her on her shows, or she will and in exchange she will stop bad mouthing the cabals of Bollywood, and she will stop exposing these things, right? So there looks like Ekta Kapoor is acting like a bridge between these people who has gotten like a truce set up, so that like everybody is like it's a win-win for everyone. Kangana gets to act in movies and do all these Falana Dhimkana shows. Uh, I think she's doing a reality show right now, right? So all these things are taken care of. So monetary wise, like Kangna is happy. Fame wise, also everybody gets their piece of the pie. So everybody is happy. I think I think if that is not the case, if what I'm saying is not the case, then I'm afraid what you have said that like she's being controlled, she's being brainwashed. But
Control.
if that's the case, then if not now, then in coming time we could expect that something similar could come out in case of her.
Yeah. See, another thing is, Meera is saying, saw a video of Shehnaz Gill addressing Brahma Kumaris today. Meera, that's a very, very clever move by the Bollywood media. This event happened in January. Okay. Because of the lambasting that she has got because of the Salman, kissing and hugging video which went viral. Now they're trying to save face and show that she is the Brahma Kumari's angel, and they've awarded her for something. God alone knows what she did to deserves any award. And if you look at it, I don't think Siddharth's mother was there in that party. I'm not sure, but this is a very clear case of whitewashing. That's happening
उन्होंने
here.
तो अपना बेटा खोया है, सिद्धार्थ की मॉम ने तो अपना बेटा खोया है। उनको क्या लेना देना है सलमान खान से और बाकी सब चीजों से? उनको तो दे आर इन द मोस्ट अनफॉर्चुनेट सिचुएशन, आई वुड से, when
Yeah,
people like us fight so much for SSR, but we don't question even once to the questionable actions by the family members. I'm saying the sisters. I'm specifically pointing out the sisters. We don't have the guts to question them, and we are fighting for SSR. But how much we have fought for Siddharth Shukla? How
yeah,
much we have pressured for CBI investigation in Siddharth Shukla case? Nothing is going to happen there. So it pains
yeah.
me that,
Same thing.
that
Yeah, yeah. See, in this video that went viral, if you look at all the people, they're all people who are close to Salman Khan, and you know that. Now, see, it's always as if, if you play the right tune, as in Pied Piper, then you will get all the benefits of being on our side, which means movies, ads, parties, cruises, everything. So that's what these women. So who were the women at this party? You will see at Arpita's party. You're talking about Jacqueline Fernandez, Ekta Kapoor, Kangana Ranaut. You're talking about Karishma Kapoor. Okay, so all these people who are so close to Salman, and everybody was hugging Salman as if to show that he's the most irresistible character, at the party. So that's one thing. So
no.
moving, yeah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, ma'am. Like I was just reading through the comments, and there was one very good comment about by this person called Amit. He's saying that all the industry, like the complete entertainment industry. So I think like we are. I just want to let Amit know that like we are talking about the entire industry. Yes, obviously the discussion is centered towards like some people like Salman Khan and like some other people from Bollywood. But when we say that, we are well aware of the fact that like there are such activities happening even in southern film industry and
Of
other type
course,
of film
of course.
industry. So whether it's like Bollywood, Mollywood, all the woods
In
are
fact, there's
being.
there's an important news that came in from Kerala, Mollywood, okay, where the mafia, Matancheri mafia is rampant. So they said that suddenly one of the top actresses, Manju Warrior, is missing.
Mhm.
Somebody has kidnapped her, and nobody knows where she is. And when they look at her, social media accounts, she's still writing something. So that doesn't prove that she is there. Somebody could be writing it for her. So, if, like you said, it's there in all these film, places, whether it's Tollywood or Mollywood or Sandalwood, you know. So another thing that I wanted to tell you, friends, is that yesterday, Saffron, also you can spare the music. Yesterday we were supposed to have an interview with Ketan Kakkar, okay, the man who Salman Khan had harassed, regarding land. He was supposed to come on our channel, but uh, he was saying, asking me like, what all can we talk about and all that. So I said, see, everything except disrespecting our prime minister or talking bad about him, everything else will be tolerated, I said. So then he said, no, no, but injustice has been done to us, and oh, blah 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 blah. And we were NRIs, and we need some justice from the government, with regards to this. As it went on and on, then after some time he told me. So I said, no, we do not want to do it. Okay. So if you want to talk about the case with Salman, you're welcome. Whatever the latest updates. Then he said that, see, after some time he wrote and he said, my lawyer doesn't want me to give any interviews. you know so that's how the program got cancelled yesterday. So it's like, it's become an open thing that the more you spill hatred for PMO, prime minister, the more people like it. So on this show, viewers, I'm very clear, whether it is Deepthi or whether anybody, I will not tolerate anything against the prime minister, because he is the one who stands, I told you time and again, between enemies and us. And I prefer Prime Minister like Modi ji to any Manmohan Singh or any other, people who have done nothing for the country. Okay. Okay. Now moving on to another point. Yeah, you wanted to say something,
No, ma'am, I just wanted to
Sarah?
say that it's such a shame that the program got cancelled at the last minute. It could have been understood if it were cancelled for some emergency reasons. But the guest coming out and saying that my lawyer does not want me to give any comments on the show, these things
Yeah.
should have been handled well in advance before when the
Yeah,
discussions were
exactly.
there for the.
Exactly.
I-
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was he just pulled out a red herring, which we have
Yeah.
successfully
No,
caught.
no, he had his motive. He wanted to come and lambast the prime minister. And he has no intention to talk about Salman Khan. He only wants to talk about Modi. That's it.
That goes ahead and tells us that it reaffirms our suspicions that probably the guest has been bought out by cabal.
Exactly. So another thing that I wanted to discuss today, Saffron, is that News Laundry is trying desperate. Now it's a leftist media with absolutely no one follows it because they run fake stories. You remember they ran a fake story on Nilotpal, calling him a hero, and when we all knew that there was news about him smuggling stuff from Bombay and bringing it, and being caught in the customs. So they made a hero of him. And they said that he was the one who started the SSR movement, and all the trends were thanks to him. The amount of lies News Laundry has put, and then they've also come out with the fact that, see, he has not even met Sushant personally. On what basis is he saying that he knows his family? Okay, now this same media, friends, has come out with another video. Now they're trying to sort of increase their subscription or money or whatever by saying that whatever you guys said about Disha Salian is all wrong. So after 2 years, they come out with another video saying that you guys have built a wrong narrative, starting from Republic. Okay, and they say that, see, whatever the executive editor is a lady called Manisha Pandey, and the person who she interviews is called Pratik. And I found that very strange because the video itself, Pratik, Pratik's interview looks like he's from some 1925 or something, not even a proper video, and you can make out that, he keeps, stuttering and all that. You can make out that he's lying through his teeth. Now, all the points that he puts across are the points put by Bombay police. The first man in the world who has supported Bombay police during this period. Everybody knows the reputation of Mumbai police under Paramveer Singh and Waze. In fact, Waze, they found out, NIA has found out that Pradeep was, paid money to bump Mansukh Hiren. So this would have been the same modus operandi to bump SSR and bump Disha and bump Jia Khan and, Sridevi in Dubai, Divya Bharati. Okay. So now I was just listening. It is a 50-minute interview. Now you could, see, I think there's very strong interference from Mahavikas Aghadi. They are very scared that someone is going to be in problem because of this. So they kept saying that, see, the mother and the father are so upset. Then why did the mother in the beginning say in Z News that her daughter is too brave to commit suicide? And now the mother, the boy, the fiance, and all are saying it's a suicide. Why are they changing tune?
Because that statement was before there were talks with the Mahavikas Aghadi government, and the other
Yes.
statement, the statement that came in later, is the
Yeah.
statement that is coming after there have been, much discussed agreements between the Mahavikas Aghadi government and the family. That's
Yeah.
it doesn't take a genius to understand that. If you look at the
Yeah.
new, so first of all, I at least thought that, I should agree with the News Laundry name of the channel, but I don't think I would even agree with their name of the channel. I think it should be News Dirty, because what they do is not, they don't launder the dirty news, but they create
They make
dirty
it even
news.
dirty.
Exactly. So I think it
Yeah.
should be called News Dirty. Now, News Dirty channel came up with a video. If you carefully look at the video, you will see that there are so many editings, right? There are so many editings. They have taken so many takes. They don't even have the gumption to come up with a video, like a live video where they can talk. If they have so much, if they wanted to prove Rohan Rai's innocence, and if Rohan Rai wanted to discuss this, why is he coming so later? Why is he coming
Yeah.
now? Why is he
Two
coming?
years late.
Yeah, 2 years later, when people like Nilesh Rane, Narayan Rane, they have been constantly saying in Marathi, they have been tweeting that आम्हाला माहिती आहे, Disha Salianचा rape आणि murder झाला होता, right? They are saying all these things continuously on social media. So clearly, Baby Penguin has bought out this News Dirty channel and has funded,
Yeah.
to come up with a narrative, to come up with a false narrative, you know and that's why he's bringing Rohan Rai there. Why didn't News Dirty channel create a live where people could join and ask him questions, ask him
Yeah.
tough questions? Why didn't they do that? Why are they posting an edited video? You look at the video, you will see that there are so many edits taken place in that video, like from one angle, from the other angle. What is going on? Is it like a filming of a short film? It looked more like a short film which was tried to concoct, facts and the actual happenings.
Yeah.
It,
And see, and
it
what
looked
they're
more like
saying
that.
also, yeah, and what they're saying, Saffron, is that they don't have any advertising, so they do it purely on basis of subscription. So please subscribe, then you can listen to the whole interview. And this man who's talking, his name is something like, let me see, Pratik or something. Pratik, yeah, Pratik. And he says that he did a lot of research and he went to Bombay on his own, their own expense, which is News Laundry's expense, with a camera.
And VS
Well, that's
expense.
what people do. I mean, none of us are paid.
Yeah.
We use our own cameras, we use our own equipment. Okay,
No,
that's
ma'am.
not, and then they say that, see,
At least people like yourself use their own expenses, use
yeah,
their own
yeah,
cameras and use their own funds.
yeah,
But people like these, they say that they use their own fund. In
yeah,
reality, they are using MVAs or all these, money coming in from the cabal. That's what they are
yeah,
using. Like,
yeah,
News Dirty so keen on putting a false narrative in front of people? Why is News Dirty?
yeah,
Why in all, we have reached a time when none of the channels are speaking about SSR. Not
yeah,
Republic, not Times Now, none of the channels are speaking about SSR. Why News Dirty suddenly? Why News Dirty suddenly? Because It's being funded by a baby penguin
Yeah.
to create a false narrative. Right now, right now, with Parambir Singh, with Sachin Vaze, they've been like, they are like trapped from all the angles. You don't know what's going to happen like in the next 2 3 months. Every day someone from BJP, either it's Devendra Fadnavis or it's Nilesh Rane or Narayan Rane, they are coming up with one or the other thing. Either there's like 120 hours of tapes, Mansukh Hiren murder case, Antilia bomb case. There are so many things with these Shiv Sena government is deeply involved in. So I don't understand,
And
like,
this guy,
why is News Dirty?
yeah,
Why is News Dirty channel so keen on putting a false narrative? Because they are on the other side of the street. They are on the wrong end of the
exactly.
street.
Exactly. And they were saying that, see, this Pratik was saying, and he explains the whole thing, the whole death, as if he was there firsthand. Can you imagine it? He said that there were about 4 or 5 people, or five, 6 friends who came to the party, and they had fun, they danced. Then some of them were in the balcony, and then Disha went in. So the friend said, please check out, what she is doing, you know. And then he went and checked out, and he checked the cupboard also, as if they're playing hide and seek, you know and then they checked the window and they found her dead. And their news laundry is saying, why are the media saying it take 25 minutes? They were there immediately. Are, were you there at that time? And you're talking about saying that, see, all these mainstream media and these YouTubers, we are not just YouTubers, we are all journalists also. Please do not think that we are making fake stories. So kindly do not term YouTubers with disdain. YouTubers are more hardworking than even mainstream media, and they present you the truth. So, a news laundry, however you try, you cannot spin a narrative exactly in the same manner that Rajdeep Sardesai did with Riya Chakravarti.
Ma'am, obviously Rohan Rai seemed very rattled in that interview, in that edited interview. You could see that he was like half of the times he was like, stammering to, he was thinking, and it was like, a script told to him that he was narrating, and he was not able to narrate it that well also. So obviously, uh, there are like, many things wrong with the video. It is edited. uh, you cannot, there is no like, there is no point in a video where, like, your serious questions have not been answered. He just said that I was downstairs between, like, in 5 7 minutes I went downstairs, when clearly the media channels had been saying that, like, for 25 to 30 minutes he was not there, right?
Yeah.
Came in later. So all these things, they are very doubtful, and I think they are just here to present a false narrative.
You know,
And
Saffron Tiger, see, this interview that you're talking about is the first interview. Now, today they have released, that's the one I'm talking about. Today they have released another video. That's
oh,
what I
okay, I
said.
haven't seen
The
that.
man looks like he's from 1925. I mean, a black and white interview, you know. And this girl keeps telling, see, it's like a mom and a child. So she'll keep saying, the executive editor will say, so what do you think about that? All these YouTubers are bad. So he'll say, yes, they have been spreading all this wrong nonsense, and they're just spreading, gossip, and they don't even ask the police. And the police themselves are confused. They don't know whether to believe the TV or the YouTubers or social media. So you see, they are trying to now say that, see, whatever exposure we've been doing, and these Ranis have been doing, is completely wrong, which means somebody is shivering like hell, since the truth is going to come out. And that's what is making people like News Laundry rich. Yeah, Safi?
Wow. uh, Ma'am, I was just trying to, I thought that, like, we are talking about the old video, because I haven't seen the new video
Yeah,
which
yeah,
came out. Did it come out today?
yeah, yes.
Wow. Okay, so I'll have to take a look
Yeah.
at that. But obviously, my opinion without looking at the video is that MVA की तरफ से और ज़्यादा पैसा आ रहा है, and they are in, like, funding in full force
And they say,
to.
they have the gall to say that Disha was without clothes, and that she was she was abused and all that. Nobody has any proof about that. And the kind of things, and they said that Rohit has absconded when Rohit was speaking to the police. Yes, on that day he could have spoken to the police, but after that he was missing for 2 years. Don't give us this crap.
Why was Disha like are they trying to say that Disha committed suicide without wearing clothes?
He's
What's the
saying no.
logic?
He's saying that's all wrong. That she was with clothes.
Oh, okay. I mean, there have been like
So,
empty number of channels who have confirmed that, like, Desha, when her dead body was
and
found.
also the postmortem report where there's been sexual abuse in her private part. So it's something that everybody has seen. So who are they trying
Absolutely,
to fool?
absolutely, ma'am. What needs to be seen is how much evidence is there now with uh, almost at the 2 years after the crime. How much evidence do we have left that can be used to prove that Disha was indeed raped and murdered,
Yeah,
and how much of it can make a like a good case, a watertight container kind of a case in courts.
mm,
That is to be seen. Uh, this, in the meanwhile, channels like News Dirty, and I'm sure it has just started with News Dirty. You see that, like, there is if there is more pressure on the MVA government in the coming months, if not weeks, you will see that even few other channels will start spreading this fake narrative.
yeah,
Because in uh, in the time just after SSR murder happened, like, Baby Penguin has flushed in a lot of money to compromise the media channels. Why do you think the media channels are quiet? Why do you think most of the media channels are quiet today? Baby Penguin won't take the risk right now at this point to spread a fake narrative through a mainstream media channel. Because if he does that thing through a mainstream media channel, then people like Arnab Goswami aren't going to sit quiet, right?
yeah,
That's why he has used a small time News Dirty YouTube channel to start spreading this narrative. But in the
yeah,
future, if you see that there are going to be people who are going to put pressure, people like Devendra Fadnavis or other ministers of the BJP government, if they continue to put serious pressure on the MBA government, you will see that multiple news channels spreading this fake narrative. I won't be surprised if Rajdeep Sardesai, people like him start spreading this fake narrative, who had the shamelessness to travel all the way to Mumbai to take an interview, an edited interview of Riya Chakrabarti.
yeah. Uh, Shiv Kumar says News Laundry is being led by Madhu Trehan, who is sister of Arun Puri, chief of India Today. Her niece is Goel Puri, who has acted in quite a few movies. Link Ko Samjho. Okay, okay, yeah, seems very.
I thought that Koel Puri is daughter of Arun Puri. So we do understand the
Yeah,
link,
so
but
niece, no, niece, no.
yeah,
So brother's
yeah.
daughter.
Oh, okay, okay. So thanks, Shiv
Yeah,
Kumar, for this information. I didn't
yeah,
know that
information.
Madhu Trehan was the one who was leading News Laundry.
Yeah. Nina
So
ma'am, what about the sarcastic smile while narrating his story on? Yes, and he was laughing away. Talking about Disha's gruesome murder, he's laughing away. What sort of
in
emotions
today's
are you
video,
trying to show us?
in today's
This
video,
the journalist. Yeah,
wow. So you can see that, ma'am,
body
like
language speaks louder and expresses this real truth when a person is lying. Yes.
these guys are not interested in bringing truth. They are just interested in peddling the fake narrative, which is being funded by the Baby Penguin, right? That is all they care about, and that is all they are going to do in the coming days on also. So I think we have to, we have to be very sure of, we are not getting swayed by such fake narrative. And I don't doubt, like, the viewers who have been, with the movement for a long time, but I care more about the masses who are not aware at this point. And awareness
Yeah.
of the masses is the need of the hour.
And News Laundry is saying that there is no link between SSR and Disha. And Disha was never his business manager. So now they are going to recreate history, just like Congress made the Mughal emperors, our heroes.
Well, they will continue to say whatever they want, that doesn't change the truth, right? We have enough circumstantial evidence, I mean, like, if, like, me and viewers who are not even, related to SSR, if they were not even related to SSR and they have so much collected so much information just from the media, I have no doubt that the agencies have a lot more information other than what has been provided by the social media, because they have questioned the witnesses and done their investigation. That's what I would like to believe. If I only hope at this point that there are honest officers like Samir Wankhede in our CBI agency, so that truth comes out. Because uh, it's it's 2 years, and it's like on one hand I had expected it to be longer, because I have seen how justice for Jia Khan has panned out over almost a decade now. So I think that unless the agencies come out with some credible information and some measurable output, it is very difficult to say which way this movement is going to go. Are we going to get justice or not?
Astro says, watch Neetu Kapoor in an interview. She almost says, I was dancing item number instead of saying, I had a dance number in son's marriage. See, this has been happening before also, Astro. She said that when they said, when is the marriage? She said, I don't know. Because it's totally not up to her. The whole thing was arranged by the Kaban. She was the last one to know about the date and the time and the Muhurat, you know.
That's how it works, ma'am. In Cabal, I think the Cabal decides everything, right from the their weddings to what all movies, what are they going to do, who are they going to kill, who are they going to save. Everything is planned by the Cabal. That's how it has been. And ma'am, regarding News Laundry, I would just say that News Laundry, I will tell all the viewers that News Laundry was the channel who uh, who tried in a futile attempt to make Nilotpal look like larger than life figure for this SSR movement, right? And now News Laundry is the channel who is trying.
You already made him larger than life as an elephant.
Yeah, yeah, well, that I did. So yeah, I will take the blame for that, ma'am. But on a serious note, I would like to tell people that News Laundry was the channel who tried to whitewash the dirt of the smuggler, and now News Laundry is the channel who is trying to whitewash the dirt of baby penguin. So आप लोग connection समझिए. You
Yeah.
understand what.
See, ever since the Ranis said they have proof, Mahavikas Agadi is now doing their tossing and turning in bed. Now, so they tried getting the mayor to sit with Disha's parents. That didn't work. Then they brought in Rohan Rai. Now they brought in two interviews of media that sucks. That's News Laundry. They're trying their best. A lot of the people say Kangana is two-faced and is digging her own grave.
I'm getting a question from a viewer, Saffron. Why are the agencies quiet then? I think my guess is as good as yours at this time. There can be only two possibilities. Either they have been
Yeah.
compromised, or they have been mentioned to sit quiet right now, or come out at the time when it is advantageous to the other parties. So that's the only two options I feel.
Yeah. In PM report, it's clearly mentioned that there were no clothes on the body. Where did the clothes go then? And also the fact that she was brutally abused, sexually abused. So who did that? And then the body was found, away from the house. It was away from the compound. How does it, like Superman, fly from one corner to the other? So that's also very shocking.
They have clearly
Disha's,
started the fake
yes, very
narrative.
true, Meera. You really hit the dot. Disha's mom reminded me of Arushi Talwar's mom. So cold. Absolutely. I mean, this is so well conveyed.
And I don't
News
understand one
Laundry
thing.
is
Why is the
ultra
family?
leftist and they hate Arnab, especially in the SSR case. They are simply shooting from the shoulder, aiming at Republic. They have no interest in anybody's death or murder. Well, yes,
No,
Saffron.
I don't understand why is Disha Salian's family so bothered if people are demanding justice for Disha Salian. I don't understand. I don't understand that. They should be happy. If not anything, they should be happy. You know,
No,
even if I understand.
they're saying that this whole thing is cooked up. Even the movement is cooked up. Can you imagine the kind of
I
audacity they have?
see one thing is fine, like that if you are pressurized by the cabal, I could even understand it for a second that you are pressurized. Let's say you are pressurized by the cabal, but you can say no to cabal that we are not going to make any public statements. We will sit quiet. You know, we are not going to defend you guys, right? Why should we defend you
Yeah.
guys, right? You handle it your way. You are much more powerful. You have so much more money. Why don't you go up and try to stifle the voices of the genuine justice seekers, which in case
Yeah.
obviously they haven't been able to do, because we wouldn't be the thousands of viewers who watch your show and multiple shows by other YouTubers. They won't be watching it after 2 years, right? So clearly, dal mein kuch kala hai, and the family
Anuradha
now is
says
coming out. Yes,
these
go ahead.
culprits want to confuse public by spreading different stories. But this time, people have taken none note of even minute details and saved the evidence for future reference, thinking it to be deleted. Here, Anuradha, I'd like to tell you an interesting incident. See, I was looking up, certain topics, and I found certain, tweets, or it was an interview by Ekta Kapoor where she says, you know, Sri Devi died naturally in the bathtub. Please do not cook up stories. Why does it remind us that Siddharth Shukla had a heart attack? Okay, Sushant had depression. So they all died because of natural causes. You know. So see the people who are behind this, and they dance at these Eid parties and all, thinking that see money, the flesh, sex, all this will be lasting all their lifetimes. They don't know there's something much more powerful, that lies in store for them. Yeah, Saffron?
Ma'am, I completely agree with you. My mind was when you were reading the comments, even I was going through the comments, and I agree that the frustration that we all have been sharing together for almost 2 years now, it is beyond the pale. It is totally unacceptable. But at the same time, we have to see that how people like Rabia ji, if we are facing this much frustration without being having any blood ties to these departed
Yeah,
souls, imagine how Rabia ji and others might be feeling, the family
yeah,
members might be
exactly.
feeling. I'm talking about the family members who have genuinely worked for getting justice for their departed souls, not like the tamasha ones who are going on Twitter and running tagline campaigns. I'm not at all interested in that.
Shetty says,
What do
I
you
don't understand why central government is not taking any steps against this mafia and corrupted Maharashtra and Bengal government. Can't trust these wicked politicians. All for personal gains. Integrity doesn't matter to them. Well said.
I agree with Mr. Shetty what he said. I totally agree with his sentiments, and I share the same sentiments. I personally feel that before the next elections, if nothing measurable happens in SSR case, then I would tend to believe that there are certain government officials who have been compromised, be it politicians, be it bureaucrats, but there is something which has really bad happened. And if there is no incentive, if there is no justice for SSR, then there is no incentive for a common people like you and me.
Yeah,
If at all we if at all we or some of our loved ones, God forbid, suffer the same fate.
absolutely. NP is working behind the scenes, definitely, and working with Penguin, baby Penguin. Very good analysis, Tiger.
See, NP is one of the characters, he is an opportunistic guy who would definitely won't shy away from shaking hands with the cabal. Look what he was doing when he was in the campaign, uh, before the campaign, he was being promoted by Aditya Pancholi. He was being promoted by every Bollywood actor, right from Canadian Kumar to Sunil Shetty to that guy. Who was that guy? That small time 2 rupees actor who got engulfed with NCB. Ajaz Khan. He was also promoted by
Yeah,
with Ajaz Khan by Ajaz Khan. So all these people who have promoted NP, and after that NP joins SSR campaign. NP runs taglines, and then NP and Crocodile, they come in contact with family, and then what happens? Family starts doing the taglines instead of asking
Yeah.
justice for their
Mm,
brother, instead of coming on YouTube
absolutely.
channels, throwing out their voices, throwing out their frustration against the agencies. What they do, and what is the explanation the sister has? The sister says that, oh, remember, there is a pending court case against me. If there is a pending court case against you, does your lawyer has told you that like you go run hashtag campaigns? I mean, what is going on there? I don't understand, and I don't understand if people are here to run the taglines and just say good things about SSR, or do you want justice for SSR? What do you want, right? Get your priorities right. Like this Sushant Day and this protest and that protest, it goes beyond my understanding what's going on. This tagline business, it's like, I don't know, something I don't
Shetty
agree
is
with.
saying the remote is in Dubai, be it for corrupt politicians, current cricketers, or Bollywood. They just act as pawns.
That's bang on, Shetty. You're right.
Yeah. Why this Brahma Kumari is promoting Shehnaz? What is the purpose? I have no idea. Because, see, they're a religious organization. I would not like to criticize them without knowing the truth about what they do. So, and it's a Hindu organization. I would not like to criticize. Yes.
Ma'am, these organizations, I would say, these organizations, they are just victim as our masses are. Like, when you go to any religious organization, like a Hindu Sanatani organization, like, they are not going to question what is your faith. They don't understand these shenanigans of the cabal. वो सब प्रॉब्लम उन्हीं लोगों को होता है जो गंदे काम करते हैं. जो गंदे काम नहीं करते,
Yeah.
they are like very naive people. So if tomorrow you go, they will, like, make sure that you have good time. Now people like Shehnaz Gill went there, took pictures, videos from their cameramans, whatsoever they did, we don't know that, right? And now they just use this as a backup evidence, like, if they get exposed later in future, they are going to show this.
Yeah.
Similarly, they will show, like, some other godman, and we don't know. See, we are not saying that, like, every Sanatani is like a doodh ka dhula. There are, like, perpetrators everywhere. There are, like, people who have been compromised everywhere. Even in our SSR movement, there are people who have gotten compromised, right? We have seen it, right? So we cannot blame an entire organization just because, like, someone may have been compromised therein. So that's the thing, and I think that these videos are just used as a backup to show how good of a person you are in case your shenanigans come out in front of the world.
If you want to answer this, does the cabal include anyone apart from the D gang?
Does the cabal, of course, like, the cabal includes politicians, the cabal includes cricketers, film actresses, producers, directors, whatnot, like, the cabal also includes, like, people like Tai, and, like,
Media.
yeah, media people, like, uh, Chatdeep Sardesai and whatnot, like, so there are so many people. It's a big, we call it a cabal for a reason, right?
Well said. So, on that note, shall we end this session, Saffron?
Absolutely, ma'am.
And
And I think,
as
like,
always, interesting.
yes, absolutely. And, like, it was great that I kind of feel like, by with like during our interaction, your throat has gone okay, because I never even realized that you were having a sore throat, that you were, like, engaged in such a nice conversation with me and the viewers, that I never
Yeah.
realized that you had a sore throat.
Thank you so much. So, we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Good
ma'am.
night.
Absolutely. And thank you to all the viewers. Until next time, Jai Hind.
Yeah.